Welcome to Roundtable Decision. I'm your host, WarMechine, and for today's video, we're going to talk about Tulsi Gabbard and Hillary Clinton's feud after Hillary Clinton went on a podcast and called Tulsi Gabbard a Russian supporter, or a Russian asset, excuse me. But first, I was going to play this video of Tulsi Gabbard during the fourth presidential debate hosted on CNN and the New York Times, of where she basically called CNN and the New York Times out for calling her a Russian asset even before Hillary Clinton did on several panels. And just before I play the part where she calls CNN that, the first 35 seconds of this video that I've skipped talks about her thoughts about the Kurds and how Trump pulled the troops out of Syria, and the feud of Turkey and all the other things what's been in the news in the recent days, weeks, and really months at this point. Or a month. I don't think it's been months, but so I'll play this video where Tulsi calls out CNN and the New York Times.
But New York Times and CNN have also smeared veterans like myself for calling for an end to this regime change war. Just 2 days ago, the New York Times put out an article saying that I'm a Russian asset and an Assad apologist and all these different smears. This morning, a CNN commentator said on national television that I'm an asset of Russia. Completely despicable. As president, I will end these regime change wars by doing two things. Ending the
So she talked about how they called her out as a Russian asset, as mentioned. And real quick, before I move on from this topic, you have to remember that she is a person that holds herself in a government and still is a major in the army still to this day. And has set time aside from her campaign to serve her duties as being a major in the army. And she also applied to serve 2 terms and all these other things. So she has a tremendous career for representing and being a American troops. But that's a big thing. So to be called a Russian asset, or to be called a traitor in the true definition of the word, goes against everything she holds in her morals. And you can clearly tell that this is the case by her being called this. So I'll play this next video about what I mentioned at the start of this video about Hillary Clinton calling Tulsi Gabbard a favorite of the Russians.
Tulsi Gabbard by name, but an aide confirms that that's who she was talking about when she made this stunning claim that the Russians had already hit on a way to meddle in the 2020 election, much in the same way they meddled in her election in 2016. On a podcast interview, Clinton said, quote, "They're grooming her to be the third-party candidate. She's the favorite of the Russians. They have a bunch of sites and bots and other ways of supporting her so far." Clinton was referring to the fact that the Hawaii Congresswoman gets a lot of attention from Kremlin-linked media, just as Green Party candidate Jill Stein did back in 2016. This afternoon, Gabbard lashed back, accusing Clinton of trying to destroy her reputation and calling Clinton, quote, the queen of warmongers, embodiment of corruption, and personification of the rot that has sickened the Democratic Party for so long.
So that was one of the 3 real major quotes she sent out against Hillary Clinton via Twitter. And as I've said earlier, you can clearly tell that this bothers her from the deep parts of her morals as a veteran and as someone who's still serving in the army as a major or in the general reserves. And you could on the further, she had tweets of where she stated more of what's being said. So I'll read these tweets, with one of them being the tweet what was read earlier, but I'll read it as in its entirety. Great. Thank you, at Hillary Clinton. You, the queen of warmongers, embodiment of corruption, and personification of the rot that has sickened the Democratic Party for so long, have finally come out from behind the curtain. From the day I announced my candidacy, there has been a concerned campaign to destroy my reputation. We wondered who was behind it and why. Now we know. It was always you. They're your proxies and powerful allies in the corporate media and WarMechine, afraid of the threat I pose. It's now unclear that its primary is between you and me. Don't cowardly behind your proxies. join the race directly. And a side note to that, what a lot of people have been mentioning, if you've been listening to any YouTubers or radio or Fox, CNN, any mainstream media, well, more alternative media with this, but you would hear that one of the reasons Hillary Clinton has called her asset is because she believes she's going to run as a third-party candidate. And Tulsi has said many a times, even though she's only polling in the 2 to 3% in most Democratic polls, that she is not going to run as an independent candidate. So this claim is outright false. And another claim Hillary Clinton made that actual Justice Warrior in his video about this had a very good demonstration of, and I might even play that clip in another video relating to the topic that I've been thinking about making. But in short, he talked about how even if Hillary Clinton was right about her running as a third-party candidate, she still wouldn't have enough votes to take away from someone else who may be a Democrat leader, such as, let's say, Warren or Bernie Sanders. She still, if you follow accurate models, wouldn't have enough of independent votes to take away from a Democrat winning the election by itself. So that claim is also kind of false. And again, I might make a longer video kind of explaining that in more detail and the theories behind and projections behind the analysis of that. But before we leave today, I thought I would mention 2 more things. I'll have to find the first one. So a lot of people were wondering when Bernie Sanders or any of the others were going to defend Tulsi Gabbard. Almost said Hillary Clinton. Anyway, so far there was only 2 that I've saw, and now a third when I was going to make this video. The first one, believe it or not, is Beto O'Rourke. He came out and basically defended what Tulsi Gabbard, even though he's kind of an outlier of that, because I did not expect that to happen. The second one I kind of expected to happen, and that is Andrew Yang, because he is kind of like Tulsi Gabbard in that he is more of an independent Democrat instead of a full Democrat that we typically think about. And then the third was Bernie Sanders in this tweet here, what he released 20 hours ago from this video. Tulsi Gabbard has put her life on the line to defend this country. People can disagree on issues, but it's outrageous for anyone to suggest that Tulsi is a foreign asset. And this was via Twitter what Tulsi Gabbard retweeted. And I'm not sure if he's gone out publicly through mass media sources or anything like that, video-wise or radio-wise saying this, but if it's just via Twitter, this tweet, it seems like he is supporting Tulsi Gabbard and their claims of not being a Russian asset as well. And then lastly, I was going to show a video of Tulsi Gabbard with a campaign she's released. So she released a campaign basically talking about Hillary Clinton's deal. And I'm not going to play all 2 minutes of the video. I might skip around a little bit. But you can get the general gist of her latest campaign video that she sent in response to Hillary Clinton calling her a Russian asset as well, as she's kind of taking advantage of the situation, some would say. Because most people define Tulsi Gabbard and what she wants to do troop-wise and army-wise as being her strongest suit. And many other people with her other policies kind of fall off and say that they don't like it as much. But the war and what she wants to do with the troops is where she's getting most of her support from. So here's the video.
That my endorsement of Bernie Sanders would be the end of my quote-unquote political career. They said Clinton will never forget that she and her rich and powerful friends, her allies in politics and in the media, will make sure that you are destroyed. Well, there have been countless hit pieces full of smears against me from day one of this campaign. They've tried to destroy my reputation and my lifetime of service because I stood up to them. I've spent over 16 years of my life proudly serving in the Army National Guard. I still serve as a major today. I volunteered to deploy to the Middle East twice. I've served in Congress now for nearly 7 years, serving on the Foreign Affairs Committee, the Armed Services Committee, the Homeland Security Committee, and I am not afraid to openly express my love for our country. But if they can falsely portray me as a traitor, then they can do it to anyone. And in fact, that's exactly the message that they want to get across to you. That if you stand up against Hillary and the party power brokers. If you stand up to the rich and powerful elite and the war machine, they will destroy you and discredit your message.
So you can listen to the rest of the ad if you're interested in the other minute or so what is in the ad, but you can get the general gist of what her latest campaign ad is. And I think many of people agree with the messages of that she's saying. And again, she stated several of the facts that I stated in this video of being a major in an Army National Guard. And as you can see, as I said earlier, Tulsi Gabbard is very much getting her support from her army angle and what she wants to do with the troops. And by Hillary Clinton calling her a Russian asset, she is, one, offended by this claim, and two, taking advantage of what Hillary Clinton has said, and is most likely going to gain a lot of support for the anti-Clinton or anybody who supports her in what she says. Are basically, she's going to gain a lot more of the votes, I think. Will she make it to the next presidential election? Will the DNC let her make it to the next election is the better question. I am not sure. But we will see what Tulsi Gabbard plans to do in the future and what Hillary Clinton is going to say about her. But I don't think it was necessarily smart from Hillary Clinton's Democratic Party perspective to come out and say something against someone like Tulsi Gabbard, even though she's only polling 2 to 3% so far in polls. Thank you for watching the video, and I might do a further video about the particulars of the situation, but I just wanted to get a general video out, so thank you again.